Welcome back to Han Took Shots First. This is a special presentation. And we're going to be talking about some news.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should I play the intro?
Fresh off the Death Star. Kick it.
Here we
Harrison
are.
Ford is very handsome.
He is a handsome man.
I love our intro.
I'm very upset with myself right now.
Why?
'Cause I did all this setting up. I told you to get on in 5 minutes. And because I was making coffee and I forgot to get my coffee.
Oh,
so it's
man.
just sitting in the other room.
Go grab it.
Yeah.
I'll banter.
All right.
Go grab that coffee. We need some fucking go juice, man. Like, because, I got my coffee, so I would feel real bad if he didn't have his. And I don't know what to talk about, so you guys got to sit there and just take it. I will say I recently got my 4K editions of both the Ewok movies and the holiday special. So if you are in my life, just know that come November, like Thanksgiving time, you will be watching the holiday special with me on beautiful, beautiful 4K. As far as the Ewok movies, I have not seen those in a long fucking time, and I'm kind of excited to see them. We will be doing them for Han Took Shots, but I will have to watch them before that. So, just it's part of the perks of being a philanthropist and helping out St. Jude's Hospital out of the goodness of my heart. I did so much for them. They gifted me 4K DVDs because they know me and they know what kind of person I am, which is not much of a person, but pretty good Wookiee. See what kind of coffee he's got. I bet it's some of that Jamaican blue coffee. Jamaican me jealous. What kind of coffee you got there, big boy?
Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee.
I called it. You hear that? And then my joke was Jamaican me jealous.
Yeah, and then on the way over here, I spilled some on the floor like an idiot. Because this is Han Took Shots First, but it is 1 p.m. and we still have a Bad Movies Worst People episode to record tonight, so I'm not drinking.
Yeah, I limited to one shower beer today just to take the edge off. I'm hungover after eating 12 tacos.
Look at that Meow Wolf cup.
Nice.
Anyway, here we are talking about Star Wars news.
Because there's a lot of it. Like, there's
Yeah.
always news. There's always like the rumor mill about who's going to appear in what and what movie they're going to. Did I lose you?
I lost Jack.
You froze up on me. I don't know if that was you or me that froze.
You froze on my side.
You froze on mine. Weird.
Yeah, well,
we'll have to figure it out. But yeah, we normally have rumors about what, show they're going to announce and then cancel. But we finally have juicy rumors. Do you want to start with what you got?
Yeah. Yeah, so, because we said early on in this show that we would talk about Star Wars news, but there hasn't been any real solid news other than, like, Skeleton Crew came out and Andor's coming out.
You get these little tidbits of, like, Watiti's script is being worked on. Like, no, not news. That's just you trying to fluff me.
Yeah. So, the big thing right now that's all over, and, the YouTube people have been having a heyday with it.
Oh, yeah.
It's Kathleen Kennedy's retirement rumors. You were telling me that there's like all these videos that's like ding dong, the witch is dead and all this stuff. I'm like,
finally Star Wars is saved. Like it is people are solely putting the failure of Star Wars on her. And I'm not going to say that she's blameless, but first, how many things did she produce that we do like?
Well, so Kathleen Kennedy, people forget this is her. She does look evil, but
yeah. And I do think she's evil, but not fully evil.
Well, she works in Hollywood.
Exactly. That's my base.
She's got to be somewhat evil.
Mm-hmm.
But people forget, first of all these people that are saying this are the people who think George Lucas is God. And he's the one who chose her to be in charge.
Yeah, he handpicked her, and then he worked with her. She was working with him while he was still captaining the ship.
Yeah. I mean, and she produced some of the best films of our childhoods and lives. Temple of Doom, Gremlins, Goonies, Back to the Future, Inner Space, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And as far as like for kids, I mean, like Land Before Time, I grew up with that shit.
Oh yeah,
A bunch of Spielberg
your wife's
stuff,
got a
Hook,
goddamn
Jurassic Park.
tattoo of it.
Yeah. Hook, Jurassic Park, Schindler's List, Twister. So I mean, she produced a lot of good movies. She's
Right.
not this like she's not just out there to ruin your childhood. She's kind of responsible for a large portion of it.
She's a filmmaker, and so let's get to the rumor was that she's retiring. She's out. Like at the end of this year, she's fucking done, and we'll never see her again. Star Wars is saved. We're gonna bring somebody in. Funny enough, people are like, "Oh my god, George Lucas is gonna come in and save Star Wars." First of all, that dude's in his 80s. He's worth $5 billion. He does not need to ever touch Star Wars again.
No. And
He probably doesn't want to.
No, that's what I was going to say. He doesn't care to either. Like he's done.
Yeah. He's watching everybody else get blamed right now and panned for all these sequel trilogies and just going, how's that feel, motherfucker? Sorry. How's that feel, motherfucker?
Oh, bitch, everybody laughed at me.
Like he's watching Star Wars nerds flame people online. He's like, thank God I don't have to deal with that as much anymore.
Yeah. Because it's just getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, the internet just makes people louder, and they all find each other. Like the YouTube thing we were saying, dude. Like go on those YouTube like comments, and it's just a bunch of fucking neck bearded males in their goddamn parents' basement, just mad that they can't have sex, so they take it out on Star Wars.
Yeah,
I'm mad that I can't watch Star Wars, so I take it out on sex. I do it the opposite.
Well, the quote from her regarding all this is she says, quote, "The truth is, and I just want to say this loud and clear, I am not retiring. I will never retire from movies. I will die making movies. That is the first thing that's important to say. I am not retiring."
I love that too, by the way. Like just even if you don't like her, I love I'm going to die making films. That's what I want. And that's what you should be if you're in this industry. You should be.
And she said, I don't have the quote here. I was looking to see if I'd saved it, but she was talking about like, a producer is not an artist. She knows that. She's not a filmmaker in the sense of like an artist. She is a business person.
Yeah.
She said most of being the head of Lucasfilm is dealing with licensing stuff, Disney stuff, and directly with like fans and interviews and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing all the business shit. It's like, I think she said like 10% artistic and then 90% business.
Makes sense.
So like people want like these artists in charge of stuff, and it's like, but then you end up losing that artist that you thought you wanted in charge. Well, now they're not making anything because they're too busy signing papers. And
I mean, that time is just gone. You know, the time of the George Lucas making this movie for $11 million is gone. That doesn't exist in Hollywood anymore. Yes, I know that you're going to quote this $6 million Oscar winner, which is fucking outstanding, by the way.
Yeah.
Which one was it that won?
Anora
for $6 million and won Best Picture is
5 Oscars.
Insane. So, but that's an A24 film studio. So, I mean, they do put the art first. I just think these big movies, which is what Star Wars will always be now, as a blockbuster, no matter what comes out. This dude, I'm nervous about this Grogu and Mando movie. Like, I don't think it's going to be as good as what we need it to be, but I'm going to be there day one. So,
well, my problem worrying about that one coming up is Mando has been short form, you know, it's been in television shows, so we get a bunch of shorter stories that make a bigger story. This is going to be squeezing one story into 2.5 hours that probably could have just been another season.
Yeah, exactly. It's just they hit the panic button pretty hard on it, and they just want to make sure they get this guy into the fucking movies again so they can sell merchandise, which works.
Well, they want to get back into theaters because they haven't done a theatrical release since Rise of Skywalker.
I think it's a miss though. You give me another season of Grogu and Mando. You know, give me that on Disney Plus. I don't want I want the next movie that I see to be an episode. I want it to be numbered. I want episode 10. But back to the Kathleen Kennedy stepping down or shifting roles. We do have rumors of replacements.
Yeah, there's rumors of replacements, and So she did say, by the way, that she'll be at Lucasfilm for probably another 8 to 10 years because she's producing things right now that are coming out, like Mandalorian and Grogu. She has talked specifically about the Sean Levy movie that might be starring Ryan Gosling.
Oh, I don't know. You know how I feel about big names in Star Wars now.
Yeah. And
But
that's like a between things. That's supposed to be like 5 to 6 years after Rise of Skywalker, but
okay.
presumably before this new trilogy that Simon Kinberg's supposed to be doing.
I mean, I think they want to set up. I'll make it real quick. They just want to set up something between after 9 and before 10, and not have to do this big jump of explaining. If they have an in between movie like you're talking about, it sets it up perfect. Ryan Gosling can even die in that film, setting up for the Daisy Ridley trilogy, if that's where they decide to go. And I think what I heard was they said Daisy Ridley is their most marketable actress. I can't remember the exact phrasing, but they know that this is who they're going to put their money behind, is making Daisy Ridley the face of the Mark Hamill of Star Wars for a while.
Yeah. And I mean, despite like all the people who hated on her, the stuff that was wrong with her movies wasn't her fault. It wasn't her. It was the writing.
We've talked about it with John Boyega. He's a phenomenal actor. I very much like John Boyega. I do not care for him much in the trilogy, but not his fault.
Yeah.
You work with what you got.
So we have a few. I found different rumors about people who may be in place. So there was a longtime executive that was like her assistant, Kathleen Kennedy's assistant, that was supposedly going to take over, whose name I didn't write down because they ended up being appointed. They're the head of some other studio now. Everybody thought it was going to be this person. It's just some producer that we don't know. The big rumors, of course, are either Jon Favreau or Dave Filoni.
I prefer.
Everybody knows Filoni, of course.
You just look at the hat. Just look at the hat. You know him from the hat.
The hat. He's carrying around the fucking Mandalorian helmet.
No, it's not a Mandalorian helmet. You goofball.
It's not.
No, it's a Clone Wars.
He's got the
he's got the shirt
the visor.
He's got the shirt for Wolf too. That's Wolf's helmet.
All right. Well, you're the nerd. I'm just a nerdish nerd.
I mean, look, I'm being an asshole, but it is based off of the Mandalorian helmets. So
I saw the little
point to Derek.
I saw the little aiming scope doodad. Yeah. And that's what made me think of.
I mean, the visor. Look at the
Boba Fett.
Look at the visor. Where's my Mandalorian helmet? It's around here somewhere.
And then, of course, like I said, Jon Favreau is the other one, and they've been doing Mandalorian together. Well, this is who I actually want. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You first. I've been.
I was going to say there's another rumor that it could be one of those two, plus an executive, which is like what they're doing. Excuse me, is what they're doing at DC right now, where they have James Gunn to be in charge of the creative part of producing. And then they have this guy, Peter Safran, who is like the executive guy.
Okay.
And they're going to be running the DC stuff together. Now, we don't know if any of that's going to be good yet. I've heard good things about Creature Commandos, but that's all we've seen so far.
Creature Commandos was phenomenal. And guess what? Not a surprise. One of the best soundtracks you'll have.
Yeah.
There is,
of course.
So Wes pitched it to me, and I was like, all right, it sounds good. I'll watch it. And I watched it, and instantly I was like, dude, the way to sell me on this is to let me know that Gogol Bordello is in your soundtrack heavy. And then the next episode was a cartoon version of Gogol Bordello playing on stage. And I was like, this is all I had to hear. I was fucking in. But the reason I would prefer Favreau over Filoni is much more artistic minded. And he knows the world of Star Wars better than almost anybody as far as plugging things in. He does a really good job of making sense of stuff. Favreau is both, I think, like perfect merriment because he's been in charge of big stuff. He is. We talked about the show Chef or the movie Chef before we came on here, how good that is, and other things he's done. I think that he can straddle that line of we have to make money, but it has to be artistic. I feel like Filoni will bend way too much.
Well, and I agree with you, and I don't know a lot about Filoni because I haven't watched the cartoons, but I know he's been in charge of all this Disney Plus stuff pretty much.
Yeah,
and I know some people have problems with him because they're like, well, he's always putting in this stuff from, the cartoons that you need to know and whatever. But I've never felt lost, and I haven't watched the cartoons,
and I felt enriched.
Yeah,
that's
like what it should be. It should be like if you watch it, then you get a little extra. If you don't, you still know exactly what's going on.
And people like yourself that haven't watched will hit me up all the time, like, "Hey, is it worth me getting to know this character?" Because they didn't
Yeah.
know him, and I like it.
Well, I think I've mentioned it before, but at one point, Whitney asked me while we were watching Ahsoka,
Kane and
okay,
Jarrus,
yeah, who's the one that they go to save?
Ezra Bridger,
And Kanan Jarrus was his master?
correct?
Okay, so yeah, they mentioned Kanan Jarrus, and they talk a lot about him in at least one episode, and she's like, do I need to know who that is? And I Googled him, and all I got was a cartoon, and I was like, no.
Not
She's like, all
yet.
right. And we were not lost at all.
Yeah.
Like, they say he was Ezra Bridger's master, and Ezra Bridger fought with Ahsoka during the Clone Wars and stuff, and you get that.
Funny enough, and I'll move on from it because it's not news. Freddie Prinze Jr. voiced that character, and there's a picture of him in Harrison Dula's ship in the live-action Ahsoka series, like a picture of Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which I would like to see in season 2. I would like to see a flashback because spoilers, he dies in the cartoon. So I would like to see a flashback of Freddie Prinze Jr. playing him before he gets too old to do so. That would be fucking cool.
There's always been a rumor that Kevin Feige might take over, but I think that time has passed.
Yeah.
Because he was, and people know, I don't have a picture of him, but he's the head of Marvel Studios. And he was pretty much like the most powerful man in Hollywood as far as producing goes for a while there. But the time for that to happen would have been right after the back-to-back Avengers Endgame Infinity War.
Yeah, when people were still loving on Marvel movies.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing in the world at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
That was the biggest thing in like movie history.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's dropped the ball a little bit. He's gone the way of Kathleen Kennedy as far as internet opinions go.
Yeah.
So that's kind of that's always been a rumor, but I think that's not really.
I don't know, man. I watched that new Daredevil to the first 2 episodes last night, and that's definitely his, and it is fucking banging.
Yeah, I really want to watch that.
Yeah, first 2 episodes are out.
I'm a little concerned because Daredevil's appearances in was it She-Hulk were a little too like silly. Like
this is not this
silly,
is
but it doesn't look like the show's going to be.
This is pretty dark and gritty.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so far so good.
Just gonna wait for Hulk's son to show up now.
Star.
The next one that's a rumor but does not seem likely is J.J. Abrams.
I don't think he wants to touch it again, dude.
Well, and that's what there's a friend of his who's just quoted as an insider because they didn't want to put their name out there, who said, I don't see him coming back to that toxic cesspool. It definitely left a mark on him, and that's a direct quote. So
I believe it.
But it's still out there circulating. I think that would have been, again, if those movies had done better, or if it had happened around that time, it would have made sense of the
funny
thing sequels.
The funny thing is, we say if they did better, they did phenomenal. They just didn't resonate very well.
Well, it's like we talked about on an episode of Bad Movies, where people that we just recorded. If your movie costs $250 million, you have to make $1 billion for it to matter.
Yeah.
Because we were talking, again, we were referencing the Anora thing. It's like, okay, well, I don't know what it made. It wasn't blockbuster status. It made less than any of these movies cost to make.
But
it won all those awards, and it also cost $6 million to make. If you make $70 million on $6 million, you did really fucking well. If you make $500 million on $250 million, you barely break even after advertising and stuff.
I think episode 7 alone has made $1 billion for him.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, I think they weren't well received by people in the public, but I mean, people went and saw them.
Yeah, that's my point.
The one that's marked with all this stuff failing is Solo, and it still made hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yep.
So,
yep.
And then there's some executives that have been rumored. So they're people that we don't know personally, but we know their work. Well, we don't know any of these people personally, but you know what I mean? Like, we don't know them, their personalities.
I'm J.J. Abrams Moyle.
There's this person, Emma Watts, who was a 20th century executive, as that picture will show you. But she's responsible for producing like all of the X-Men movies, so good and bad.
Yeah.
All the way up through like Deadpool. She produced Avatar, and then she was moved to Paramount and became the president of motion pictures there. but then they had like a big muckety muck brass change going on there, and so she's kind of been just waiting since then. But there's a big rumor about her.
Gotta
And
find somebody
then
with thick skin, man, because whoever comes in, you're gonna be blamed for
yeah,
everything that's not the original trilogy now. You know? Unless you just put out an untouched version of 4, 5, and 6, you're gonna be failing in the eyes of the fucking fans.
well, even then there'd be some asshole on the internet that's like, well, what happened to my favorite scene with Jabba where Han
Uh-huh.
Solo steps on his tail?
Uh-huh. Yeah, you're just not gonna win, but good
Why'd you
luck
turn
to
Han
whoever's
Solo
in.
into a murderer?
It always was, dude. There was a Kathleen Kennedy was talking about upcoming projects, and she had some real fucking snide. I read it as snide about Watiti.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm sure that his script would be great if we ever get it.
Yeah, I saw a quote and I don't think I saved it. No, I didn't. I have something he said about his work on there, but yeah, she's like, look, he's busy, and with Watiti, you get what you get when you get it. So we'll see what happens, basically.
I think I've said this before, but in case I haven't, I don't like him in the Star Wars big screen universe. I don't want that. I
Yeah,
liked him.
I
I
mean,
liked his work on Mando.
yeah, he did good there. He makes great movies.
I liked
I mean, but with a big IP stuff, I don't think that's just his thing. I mean, Ragnarok was great.
Ragnarok. I was gonna say I liked Ragnarok. That was kind of lightning in a bottle because I thought for sure I wasn't gonna like it when it came out, and then I loved it. Love and Thunder got announced, and I was like, oh my god, Watiti's back. Buff Natalie Portman. Hated it.
Dude, so bad.
So there's that. Like I like him best when he is working for himself and making these wackadoo fucking movies and adventures, you know?
Well, and he does his thing is doing like more personal stories, even if they get a little crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
Hunt for the Wilder People and Next Goal Wins and
Boy.
What We Do in the Shadows,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. I mean, it's small personal stories that might get a little. I mean, Jojo Rabbit is about Hitler and World War II, but it's a personal story about this little kid,
Uh-huh. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
It's the most of that movie is about that household. So
and
I just I don't
you get Maori Hitler.
yeah. Mayoral. I think you meant Maori.
Maori,
Uh,
Maori. That makes sense.
yeah.
Don't get mad at me. I'm trying.
No, yeah, effort is appreciated, boo boo. No, I want him on his own. I don't like him in the big machine. And I mean, good for him for doing it when he does, because he even said he's like, dude, when I did that Ragnarok, I've funded my next 3 fucking indie movies that I want to do now.
Yeah.
Like, cool, my house has a roof, my kids have school. I'll do a fucking Marvel, Disney movie, Star Wars movie, and then go back to my thing.
And then the last one I read rumors about was a woman named Hannah Mangella, or something like that.
Okay.
She was a Bad Robot employee, worked for J.J. Abrams. Currently, she's the head of Netflix. They're like animated live action family content. So she does like family kids shit, which would fit. You would think would probably fit with some kid shit. Star Wars.
Yeah, baby shit.
And then she had a long stint producing at Sony, and she produced things like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, Hotel Transylvania, Jumanji, Goosebumps. So not all great,
right?
but she does family stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And she knows how to produce. So that's another person. I still would like to see Jon Favreau. I think, and I mean, again, we'll have to, like I said, we have to see how it goes, but I think having like Jon Favreau with producer X would be a good matchup, because
I think Filoni with producer X would be a good matchup too. Like, I almost think Favreau on his own. Well, but if they don't think that,
I feel like it's not just like producing a movie. Like he produced Chef, and he produced some other stuff that he's done, but like
Iron Man,
he working within the confines of like a big IP studio that's worried about, well, how's this going to react with that movie and that show and this and that.
I mean, but didn't he do Iron Man 1 and 2?
Yeah, but that was before.
Iron Man 1 was before,
but it was before they were deep in the weeds of like everything has to be. Phase 1, like it was once they hit Avengers that they were like, oh, all of this has to refer to each other and
that's
be very
fair.
deep in.
Because they were more standalone movies, which is kind of why they struggled at one point where like Thanos had the Infinity Gauntlet, but so did fucking Odin and his vault. Like there was these overlaps. Sorry,
Yeah,
that they had to correct because nobody was looking at that giant stream.
and that was also
The timeline.
pre-Disney.
Mm-hmm.
So that was when they were producing their own stuff. There was no Disney involved. You've got this bigger machine at work, and I think to take someone who's a good artist like Favreau and then just shove him in an office would be a disservice.
Yeah.
I think again, we don't know how it's going to work out for DC, but it seems like a good idea to take a creative who also is producer minded and partner them with a producer who is just doing that. So the creative can do a little bit of both, and then the other guy can pick up all the bullshit that he doesn't want to deal with, all the IP stuff. And
when's that Superman coming out?
June or July.
Okay.
When Kathleen Kennedy was addressing this stuff, she also addressed upcoming projects. So the next thing, as we've already talked about, is Mandalorian and Grogu, which is supposed to be May of next year.
No, May of this year, I thought. Is it 2026?
I think it's 2026.
That's stupid. I have nothing to look for this year.
Last thing I read was that we were like, hopefully we'll see a teaser this summer kind of thing.
I've seen a couple of the clips.
Shh, it's a secret.
It's not enough to like discern anything, but it's concerning.
Concerning, not discerning.
Yeah. Concerning.
But yeah, so we have the Sean Levy movie.
We're still full swing on the James Mangold.
As far as I know,
I want to say Dawn of the Force, Dawn of the Jedi. It's like 25,000 years before. It's 25,000 years BBY.
Yeah. So James Mangold said basically he looked at Star Wars and looked at what had been done and what hadn't. And the genre he thought would fit really well for Star Wars was like a biblical epic type of thing.
It's kind of smart because now you have almost no, there's no canon that goes that far back. There's legend shit that you can ignore now. So now you have a blank check instead of like, well, you have to make sure this character makes it through. You have zero stakes, and that's awesome.
I mean, James Mangold is hit and miss.
I liked Logan. I did not like Dial of Destiny.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a few written down here. His first one was Copland, which is pretty cool.
It's all right.
I mean, that's not going to make me put him in charge of Star Wars, but hey, it's pretty cool. Right. He did Girl Interrupted, 3:10 to Yuma, but he did The Wolverine, which was not good. He did Logan, which was good. He did Dial of Destiny, which was not good. And then last year he did a complete unknown, which didn't end up winning anything, I don't think, but it was nominated for a bunch of Oscars, the Bob Dylan movie there.
Yeah.
So I mean, it could be good or not. He's got a back and forth record. He's good at telling stories that focus on kind of like Waititi, but not as personal. He's good at telling stories that focus on a person within a world, but like the one person is the focal point. So if he did do it, I think it would be like a guy who's like one of the first Jedi or something, and he's establishing it, and there's all this stuff going on around him or something like that.
That would be cool. Or maybe his one character that he chooses is the Force.
Okay, yeah,
could be that.
And
I'll tell you,
there's no timeline on that or anything, but it was confirmed by Kathleen Kennedy that it's still in the hopper at least.
One thing before we move on from that one, if I don't see a proto lightsaber that has a cable connected to a backpack, much like Ghostbusters, I will be disappointed. That's what I need from that movie. That's the only thing that you have to have.
Do they kick in a Ray Parker Jr. song?
Ernie Hudson better be there. I got two things I need from this fucking movie: proto lightsabers with backpacks and Ernie fucking Hudson.
Ernie Hudson is the first Jedi.
That would be so awesome, dude. Oh, you made the first Jedi black. Oh no.
The internet catches on fire.
Just remember when they had the fucking trailer for episode 7 and a stormtrooper took his helmet off and he was black. Internet lost its fucking mind.
And we did mention the Sean Levy one. I just want to say that Sean Levy has a decent record too. He did most recently make Free Guy. I think that was most recent, which is okay. Or no, most recently he was Deadpool and Wolverine.
Dude, it's like his teeth have its own smile. Weird.
But he's also behind Stranger Things. So he's got
Stranger Things and him missing an upper lip.
that's one of the Stranger Things. We have the Ray movie, which is supposed to be directed by, and I'm gonna butcher it, but I'm gonna try, Charmin Obaid-Chinoy.
I think that's pretty fucking good.
Who, I mean, the only work of hers I recognized was she did 2 episodes of that Miss Marvel show, which I thought was well made. It's not. I'm not the target audience. The target audience of that was for teenage girls.
That was my exact review. I was like, you know what? It's well done. It's just that I am not a fucking 13-year-old girl. And if I was, I would have loved this growing up. Even as a 13-year-old boy, you would have watched it.
Now the worrisome thing about that movie, that's the Ray movie. That's not the worrisome part.
The worrisome part, the writer changes.
Yeah, so it started with Damon Lindelof, who was like the showrunner on Watchmen, and Justin Britt Gibson, who was a showrunner or in charge of The Strain, which was a pretty good show.
I liked The Strain up until the last season.
They left, and this guy Stephen Knight came in. He wrote Eastern Promises, which is an awesome movie. He was behind Peaky Blinders.
Oh yeah.
And at that point, Kathleen Kennedy was like, "Yeah, we're almost there. We've got a script." And then they were
talking about getting fucking production like right away. Like it was gonna just start steamrolling. And then he left.
Yeah, and then he left, and we got this guy George Nolfi. He wrote the movie Timeline, which was a Michael Crichton movie, not great.
Okay.
He did Ocean's 12, Bourne Ultimatum, The Adjustment Bureau. So he's kind of middling, but I mean, at this point, it's one of those things where you're taking that original script, and then the second guy changes stuff, and then the next guy changes stuff. So they're all building on each other, but
it worked for Rogue One.
It's a lot of changes, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Again, the motto for this podcast now is show me a trailer.
Yeah.
Until I see a trailer, I don't care.
There's supposed to be a Dave Filoni movie that takes place somewhere between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens, which is where he's been living for the last.
Exactly. I think that I think we're gonna shift to the canceled show because of Gina Carano. Is that her name?
Yeah. Yeah.
The canceled show was Rangers of the New Republic. And I think that we are going to get that with Filoni because he is really good at, you said you haven't seen the cartoon for Clone Wars. He did a good job of enriching the prequel trilogy with his cartoon. Because when going back and watching those, I'm like, oh, I have a deeper understanding of that because of episode this, whatever.
Because he filled in all the blanks that were left.
Exactly. It made it make sense. And I think he's about to do that. He is doing that. We talked about Bad Batch is trying to show how the Emperor came back somehow, things like that. And I think that he is going to Rangers of the New Republic movie style. It'll be called something else, obviously, but it's going to be that.
I mean, I'd be interested to see that. She was a good character and she did a good performance. She just stuck her foot in her mouth, and
I loved her character and her performance.
It's real easy these days not to screw yourself out of a really big job. And I wish these actors and actresses would realize that. Just shut the fuck up.
Hire someone to go through your tweets before you hit send.
Be a monster privately.
That's my choice.
And then we have the rumor of what we talked about a little bit, the Waititi movie. That's the picture I was telling you about where he looks a little crazy. He
looks great, dude. Just looking at that makes me laugh. Like I don't know what it is about that guy. He makes me laugh, but he also makes me feel.
I do like his quote though about what he's going for. We have no idea what the story would be, but he said, quote, look, I think for the Star Wars universe to expand, it has to expand. I don't think that I'm any use to Star Wars universe making a film where everyone's like, oh great, those are the blueprints to the Millennium Falcon. Oh, that's Chewbacca's grandmother. That all stands alone. That's all great, though I would like to take something new and create some new characters and expand the world. Otherwise it feels like a very small story.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Just like we talked about with Mangold being separated, put him in the unknown regions, dude. Give him a planet that we've never heard of or we've had in writing and never been to, that has no stakes in the fucking universe. Don't have a Skywalker show up. Don't have a Wookiee, a Chewbacca relative show up.
Yeah.
Leave Boba Fett out of it.
I mean, I like that his quote is specifically jabbing at
change of plans,
like Solo.
Change of plans. Give him a Boba Fett movie in the outer regions, dude. him working with another fellow Maori would be just phenomenal.
Yeah. but I just like that it takes jabs his quote directly at like Solo. Like we laughed when
Yeah.
we did the episode about like that's how he got his blaster.
That's how he
That's
got
how
that
Chewbacca
name.
got his nickname. Like who? Like
You're
why?
alone? Like there's nobody with you? We'll call you Solo. Get
Wink.
fucked.
And then the last big one that is pretty much the only thing that we're 100% or 85% sure is coming.
Yeah, we can't
at
100
this
anymore.
point. Yeah, we can't 100 anything until there's a trailer. But it's Simon Kinberg working on this new trilogy that supposedly will be like 10 through 12, but that hasn't been officially announced.
He looks like if he was going to be opposite Lou Ferrigno as a character called the Sulk, like when he gets sad, he shrinks into a smaller person.
You wouldn't like me when I'm sad.
Nobody likes me when I'm sad. Actually, it's why I'm sad. Nobody likes me. Get out of here, Sulk.
You wouldn't like me when I'm moody.
I'm just kind of picturing Alan Rickman's character from oh god damn it, the space travel one with the thanks for all the fish, Hitchhiker's Guide.
Yeah.
I could tell you, but you wouldn't like the odds. Who invited the Incredible Sulk? Quick, give him a handy. You're always happier after a handy.
Kathleen Kennedy did say in February that they're expecting scripts, or he's working on scripts, and they're expecting to see something by June. I'm assuming not 3 full scripts. I'm assuming like a treatment.
Yeah.
I would hate to have him have 3 full scripts ready by June because that's not a good sign.
But you can't do all those well. It's like a restaurant making fajitas, fried rice, hamburgers, and euros. There's no way you can do all that right.
I mean, there was a food truck here in town that did all that stuff right.
They didn't do it right.
American Flying Buffalo.
Oh, yeah, they did it right. Okay.
But it's rare.
It's very
also
rare.
Also you need a lot of cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
But it does. I did read some stuff. Despite Kinberg's not great track record, he's not a director. He's a producer. He did direct a couple things. One we talked about on Bad Movies, Worst People, which was X-Men Dark Phoenix.
Oh, yeah.
But he only directed that because he had produced like all the new X-Men, the First Class, Days of Future Past, all that stuff, Apocalypse. And basically they kept having trouble with directors, and he was just kind of, they got to the point where he's like, fuck it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And it's not a good movie.
It's not.
He's produced a bunch of stuff in the past, though. I mean, again, not all great. Some good, some bad. But Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which was Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, which was a fine action movie. It's stupid, but it's got scenes.
It's a sexy action movie. Like, that's all it was. Like, do you want to see this hot couple make out and shoot people? Because we got that.
He did Jumper with Anakin Skywalker.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, he jumped into Egypt. Guess what? Full of sand.
He produced Elysium and Chappie, which are cool movies, in my opinion.
I agree, especially on the Chappie. We're headed towards Elysium right now. That's where life is going. Continue.
Yeah. Well, we're at
District 9?
District 9, yeah. We're at District 9 right now.
We're headed towards Elysium.
Heading towards Elysium, and then Chappie comes after.
We just got to wait for Musk to build that giant fucking hovering space station to lord over us. It's going to be fun. It's going to look just like a Cybertruck. It's going to catch fire. Rich people will die.
That's no moon. But he also produced The Martian. He also produced The Martian, Logan, Legion, the X-Men Hulu show, which was amazing.
Was amazing.
And all the Deadpool movies, not just Deadpool. He did all 3 of them as a producer. So he's got some stuff behind him. I just, we'll see. I'm like, he's supposed to be, as far as I know, writing and directing these, and directing is not his strong suit. So, but hey, new Star Wars is at least something to watch.
Absolutely. I mean, I enjoyed the fuck out of Skeleton Crew, and was very bummed that was only 8 episodes.
Yes.
So funny enough, dude, I'm picking up my nieces here in a little bit, and we are going to watch they came over and we were trying to find something to watch, and then I said, hey, just see if you like this, because it's kind of there for their age group, 10 and around there. I put it on, they fucking loved it, and now tonight is we're gonna watch the season finale, maybe series finale of it. And it is so fantastic to watch it through a young kid's eyes, of them just super excited about kids their age doing shit. And it's pretty fun, man. It's a different watch than I had.
Yeah. Yeah, because they get something to relate to in a
Mm-hmm.
way. I mean, I don't
Mm-hmm.
think they've ever stolen a spaceship and gone on an intergalactic adventure with pirates, but
You
you
don't
never
know their
know.
life?
I don't. So, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the news we wanted to touch on. We do have Andor starting pretty soon, so we'll
Yeah.
be talking about that. And
We
apparently,
have,
is it confirmed what you said, that they're doing 3 episodes at a time, or is that
I'm
rumored?
pretty sure that's confirmed.
Okay.
So it is going to be 12 episodes, releasing 3 episodes at a time. So we have 4 weeks of Andor.
So we'll see what because we had announced that we were going to do, like, watch it and then release the episode the following week, because we, one a week kind of thing. If they're doing 3 at a time, maybe that doesn't work, because if we're talking about it for 3 months and it all came out in 1 month,
I think we're just going to watch them all at once, record an episode, and then post I don't know. Like, should we release 1 episode a week to give everybody time to digest?
We'll see how
figure
it goes. Yeah, we'll figure it out. They're screwing up my schedule, man. They didn't consult me first.
Yeah, nobody talked to me about this. But it does make sense, though, because we talked about it in Andor season 1, how chapter it felt. We fucked up by recording 2 episodes at a time instead of what we should have done was 3, because that was the arc, where those 3 together. I know our Patreon Drew loves that we record them or record right after we watch, because he likes the guessing and all the hot speculation. So he came in and talked to me about that. He likes it directly after.
Okay.
So we'll see, though. We'll see how other people feel too.
Yeah, if it is 3 at a time, it'll probably be a mix and match bag of how we're releasing them. It'll depend on how fast I can get them edited and posted, basically.
And speaking of that, we should have the second half of A New Hope releasing.
Yes, the second half of A New Hope will be out March 12th. If you're a member at patreon.com/worstpeople, which is only $3 a month, the full episode is already out. It's been out for almost a month.
Great poster, except I don't think the Rebellion ever had that many X-Wings.
Well, they did before Rogue One.
They had more. It's a great poster, man.
But yeah, we have the second half of that coming up on the main feed. And then right after that, we go into Empire Strikes Back. And I'm pretty excited about that as well. This is just the part 2 poster, but it was my favorite of the posters I found, because I'd never seen this one before.
Yeah, I like anything that features that much fucking Billy D.
Yeah, exactly. And also Darth Vader in the background, kind of looking like a monster from a horror movie instead of Darth Vader. Some kind of
creature from Dagobah.
But yeah, that's all the stuff we have coming up. We're cranking away.
Yeah.
On and off camera.
I gotta take my lower half out of this shot real quick.
But thanks, guys, for tuning in. And when there's more news, we'll talk about more news. Otherwise, stay tuned for A New Hope Part 2.
Before we go, always shoot us questions. Any Star Wars question you have, especially if it's about production, you can ask him. If it's about fantasy bullshit that no one needs to know, you can ask me. Fire away.
Yeah. You can comment on our Spotify stuff, because they allow comments. If you're on Patreon, you can comment there, or you can email us at hantookshotfirst@gmail.com. Thank you guys for checking us out, and we'll see you soon.
May the Force be with you always.
Always. I should have done this stuff before, but I was drunk instead.
I should have gone out drinking. Yeah, I tried to be a good boy and I ended up eating 12 tacos. Not all at once, though. To be fair, I had 10, and then I waited like 35 minutes, and I went, "Who are you kidding? Those tacos aren't getting better."